Hello, everybody. Ron Callis here with One Firefly and Automation Unplugged, here for another episode number 18. Now, today is Wednesday, October 4th. It's 12:30 p.m. Here on the East Coast. I'm down here in South Florida, in Cooper City, Florida. And we are having back our guest from last week, Josh Christian. We actually had a bit of a technical failure in that I had a power spike here at the home office, and we lost our internet connection, and just enough so that it caused disruption in our interview last week with Josh. So Josh was kind enough to come back. So let me just, first of all, make sure that our stream is populating our page. So give me just one moment here while I check these details. Then I'm going to bring Josh in. Let's see here. Yeah, there we go. Looks like we're live. So let me go ahead and bring Josh in. Josh, how you doing, man?
Doing well. Good morning, everybody.
Josh, thank you for joining me again for another episode of Automation Unplugged. And sorry about that abrupt, shortened end to the show last week.
Yep, no problem. Tech happens.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. How's your past week been?
It's been great. Been another busy week. It's been doing very well. Talked to a lot of integrators throughout the entire country this week. It's been a busy week.
I can imagine. Now, Josh, because of the abbreviated episode last week, and some folks maybe are joining us for the very first time here to hear about HTA and learn more about you and your background, do you mind just giving a little bit of a foundation, very particularly about HTA? What is that organization that you're now running?
Sure. So the Home Technology Association is the first third-party association that vets and verifies integration firms as to three different main tiers, and that would be their technical ability, their customer service, the aftercare support, and their reputation. So we're looking to, we created a standard that looks for, vets, verifies those companies to a standard that's been created amongst us and a group of 9 industry veterans that made up our board of advisors.
Okay, so I want to get to those board of advisors, and I want to dig back and peel back all the layers about HTA. But what I always like to do here on Automation Unplugged is actually learn more about you and your background. You know, what brought you to this day where you're running HTA? Where'd you come from? And how'd you get your start in the AV business?
Sure, thanks. I entered the AV business back in 1995. I have always been a hobbyist, especially on the audio front, so I liked home technology. In 1995, I went to work for a hybrid model store. It was a retail storefront that also did custom installation out in Thousand Oaks, California, so Southern California market. So that was 1995. By 1998, the end of 1998, I went to a pure custom company, no showroom, just pure custom. Got into the high-end home automation projects, so I kind of moved up in the industry into basic systems up until 7-figure projects at the company I worked for in LA later on. So got to grow with this industry into large projects, which has been a lot of fun. So I've been on the custom integration contracting side, you could say from 1995 all the way through to 2015. And then in early 2015, I went to the consultant side. So still in the same industry, but not a contractor, but a consultant, designer, engineer. And so still working with architects, designers, and builders, something I was very fond of before. That was something I've been doing for a long time to get business at the companies I worked for. And but now as a consultant. So done that, and then about a year ago, a little over a year ago, the idea for the Home Technology Association came up, and in talking with some industry professionals and coming up with the concept of this. So what drove the Home Technology Association to start was the realization that there are the reputation. There's a few reasons. One of them, the reputation of this industry has suffered a lot in the eyes of consumers and the referring partners that refer projects to integrators, architects, general contractors, and interior designers. So realizing that a problem in the industry is the clients have been burned by their last botched installation, now want less technology on their new home. That was a realization that was really bothering me and a lot of other integrators to talk to. Another thing as well is in any market, integrators know there are great companies that you compete with on a fair basis, and then you have an inexperienced, lesser qualified firm that is punching way outside of their weight. They're bidding on a project that they really have no experience on, and often the clients will, because there's confusion in this industry on how to hire an integrator, they will make a decision based on price, not on technical capability. And the company that would really do a great job with this particular project, that integrator doesn't get the project and instead goes to a firm that's unqualified for it. And you know how that ends. It ends in tears. Everyone's upset. Clients are not happy or can't run their home. They can't get service from the company that put it in. Maybe they didn't even finish the project. And then the original company or the company that should have got the project in the first place gets called to do a takeover. So sorry for the long-winded answer on that, but those are various reasons, very much realities that integrators have been facing throughout the country on problems that exist. And, let's fix this. How are we going to fix this? Let's make a standard. Yeah.
You launched the Home Technology Association in August. I know you've been working on it for a while leading up to the official launch. What's been the initial reception from the industry in terms of both the manufacturer side and, of course, the dealer side, the folks you're looking to become members?
It's gone extremely well. Yeah, so August 29th is when we kind of came out with this in public through a CE Pro article, and the response has been great. So the following week was the CEDIA Expo, so I got to shake hands with a lot of different integrators there that heard about it, and the response has been great. Sometimes there's a little bit of misunderstanding what we do, but it takes only about a minute and a half of explaining what we do, and they get it instantly. So the response has been very, very good. I'm getting responses, from the show is very positive, from emails and applications that are just starting, because the application process, it starts on our website online. So some of these applications have just started up organically without me even reaching out to invite an integrator to apply. So from the integrator side, it's been very good. On the manufacturer side, it's been going very good too, because the problems that we talked about in this industry are well known. It's not just amongst the integrators. The manufacturers also struggle with this. In reaching out and creating the Home Technology Association and reaching out to get our board of advisor members and such, and just basically vetting, is this idea a good idea? Should we start this business? Manufacturers, one and all, without exception, said the industry needs this. And one of the interesting statistics we learned is that about 90% of the tech support calls that manufacturers handle are from their bottom performing integrators. Their top dealers, often you don't hear from them because they know how to install that product. They're not relying on tech support. So the manufacturers oftentimes have to spend more money on tech support to support companies that are not up to enough. But the other thing that they see the advantage of the Home Technology Association is that if better dealers, the most qualified dealers, are installing their product, the chance of consumer success goes way up. And that's what we're really looking for. We're a consumer-facing organization. We want consumers, architects, builders, designers, all to have a great experience. And they realize that when their best integrators put the products in, the clients are happy. Yet when a botched installation happens, the client doesn't know if it was the integrator that did a poor job or if that product on my wall just stinks and it doesn't work. And oftentimes the brands get blamed for a poor performing installation, but the client doesn't know that. So they jumped at this ability on the board members to help craft this certification standard. But I'm getting a lot of other support from every manufacturer I've reached out to. Is that how can I help out? What can I do to help out? So it's been very positive across the board.
So I have a lot of follow-up questions to help my audience learn more about this and to help me learn more about HTA. Before I go there, though, I just want to acknowledge we have people watching live on Facebook. If you're out there, please like this post. Please share this feed so that other friends in the industry can hear the same conversation and engage with us. And if you're out there watching, by the way, Mario, thanks for the like. And Christy, thanks for the comment. If you're out there, please, if you have a question for Josh and you'd like to learn more about the Home Technology Association, please don't be shy. Raise your hand, post a question, and I'll do my best to engage. I read that. Last week when we were right in the middle of a really fun part of the conversation, we had a tremendous amount of engagement, and it was right there where we lost the internet connection. So knock on wood, hopefully that won't happen today. And if you're out there, please let us know your thoughts. Now, Josh, is the HTA in conflict in any way with CEDIA? Would it be? Should it be? Is it perceived as being adversarial in any way with CEDIA, or is that not the case?
No, it's not the case at all. We're two completely different organizations, and in our mind, actually complementary organizations. What we like about CEDIA, as a matter of fact, the Home Technology Association is a CEDIA member, so it's right on our website. We very much are believing in what CEDIA does because they help educate technicians, people in this industry. And we would, in a perfect world, every single installer out there would be trained somewhat, have some certifications that they can get through an organization like CEDIA. So CEDIA is great for that. They offer certifications for individuals. Where the Home Technology Association is different is we certify companies. So we don't look at the granular level employees, we look at the whole company as a whole. So it's not in conflict at all. So that is the major difference there, and they're complementary. So much so that on the dealer profiles on our website, the website's htacertified.org if anybody wants to split screen and see what the website looks like. We list on a dealer profile, we list if that dealer is a CEDIA member, and if any of the staff have CEDIA certifications, we'll list the certifications that company has within it. So education is something excellent because better educated, more technically minded technicians in the company is just going to make them do a better job if they know technology more. So we hope more and more technicians out there get certifications such as CEDIA. That would just help the industry overall.
So overall, how do you grade or delineate the different types or classifications of HTA membership? You have several, I think 3 different categories. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is true. So once a company is certified, they're going to fall into 1 of 3 different categories. And the differences are based, first of all, a legit company with a vetted, verified history of those things I mentioned about technical ability and customer service and aftercare and reputation. There's a basic set of requirements that every company must have. But once someone is certified, there are little shades of differences there amongst the tiers. So there's a lot of detail that kind of goes into what makes the different tiers. But the gist of it is to try to get the consumers the right fit for their project's size and complexity. So, for example, there are firms that do an excellent job on smaller scale projects, and they're set up that way. Projects that may take days or a few weeks to do. And they're excellent at that. But if you put them on a 15 or 20,000 square foot house that's going to have a 2-3 year build cycle, needs a ton of project management, lots of engineering documentation, drawings back and forth with architects, designers, they're not set up for that. And that company would often fail on a project like that. So we to make this simple for consumers, we kind of classify these integrators into 3 general buckets. And there's, of course, a little overlap in there, and we can explain that on the site. But to give them an idea of we are educating the client on, you want to hire an integration firm that has experience in the size and complexity of project that fits your needs and that they are proposing to you. And we expose that data on the dealer profiles. So that's why we have those 3 different classifications. So you got great companies, but is it the right company for your needs? And the reason that's needed is if you put ourselves in our clients' shoes, they don't know this. They think everyone's equal, right? Anybody that calls themselves a custom integrator, they're all the same. Now, us in the industry know, no, there's differences, and they're not necessarily saying one better than another. They just have different sweet spots of their business and their core competencies. So we're breaking those out to make sure that the projects that company's great at are going to be aligned with those consumers.
Now, how do you plan to measure your effectiveness? I.e., what are the goals, say, for the next 12 months, and how are you measuring whether or not you're moving towards those goals? And are you sharing that information publicly, or is that in terms of, and I'm making some up, I don't know if they're your goals, perhaps quotas for numbers of dealers in different categories, and or maybe engagement on the website or something like that? What are those numbers you're looking at?
I don't have a set number of engagements per se. We are tracking, with thanks to things like Google Analytics, we are tracking every HTA certified dealer. We have it set up in analytics that every dealer kind of has their own little pocket of data. So we want to make sure that, so we're able to check ourselves, are we getting traction on the website? One of the ways that, though, we are gauging if this is going to be successful, well, it's already being successful. We've been in, let's say public for a little over a month, and we're hearing back. There's only, by the way, the initial launch market was Southern California as a test market. So there's applications coming in throughout the country right now, but right now the HTA certified integrators are all based in Southern California. We're getting responses back already within a couple of weeks, actually, of responses back of them using this as a tool, meaning this, they are, in both cases, they were fairly large projects and, in six-figure projects. And as is typical in the past, it's a race to the bottom. Who's the cheaper price? And you're overcharging me. Why are you so much more than this next guy? But in both instances, the integrator was able to tell, in this case, both times it was the builder requesting the proposals, hey, I'm HTA certified. The builder says, what's HTA certification? Points them to the website, explains, we're amongst the top integration companies in the country. Don't take my word for it. Look at this third-party organization that has put us through a big testing and vetting process. We're amongst that firm. The builders latched onto it right away, and the conversation changed from price to competency. Am I equipped to even put a proposal in on a project of this size? And they were able to point back to the website, to our website, and look at the statistics that were in the profile to say, look how many projects I've done at this price range over the past 3 years. And it changed the dynamic. That's the point. So we know we're getting feedback from our integrators already that the tool is instantly helping them to change the dynamic of these proposals. So, this has just happened in the past couple of weeks. So I'm following up with these integrators to see, did you land that job? There's another integrator today in San Diego I know that I talked to last night who has a big proposal against a non-certified integrator, and it's a big project. And we're going to see how that pans out. So we're going to be hearing a lot of, we'll be asking, and our integrators, we have communication with them to get some success stories. We are also reaching out to, I guess another way to gauge success is we are engaging the architect, designer, and builder community, the specifier community. That's our main marketing channel. So we do this in a couple ways, but probably too much detail to get into now unless you want to go down there. But the good news is...
Let's keep it high level, and then maybe we'll peel the layers back.
Okay. So the high level is, we're reaching out to them to let them know that the Home Technology Association exists as a filter, if you will, to determine who the best companies are in a given area. So we're doing that in a couple different ways. One of them is getting direct information from the certified integrators. Another one's through Facebook, LinkedIn, targeted advertising, retargeting. So our advertising campaign is letting them know, hey, there's a tool out there to find the best integrators. They've been burned. They're looking for something like this. They want a filter to use. So we're attracting them to the website and to use our budget calculator, which is another neat thing to talk about. but also asking these people to sign up to subscribe to a newsletter. And we're getting organic subscriptions to our newsletter already. So I'm seeing that newsletter list build up organically. And I'm looking at who they are, because they have to say, are they homeowner, architect, designer, builder, whatever. I am getting good responses or a good amount of signups already from that. So I'm getting response. It's just starting to come in right now from those architects, designers, and builders.
So when a company goes to the website, and what is that website? Do you want to give me that URL? I'll type it here into the notes on Facebook.
Sure. It's htacertified.org.
All right. Just for everyone watching, you can go to our page. And there you'll see the link. Yeah, perfect. Populates with an image. Pretty. So when a company goes to the page and your website, htacertified.org, and subscribes, or not subscribes, but applies to be certified, how long does that process take? And if they don't immediately meet the requirements, are they allowed to go offline, make some modifications in their business, and then come back to you?
Yes. So a couple answers there. Just a little note, let everybody know about the application process. It's all done online through a form, and you can stop and start it, and save and exit functionality, and come back and pick it up. Once that application is completed, we're notified. Then we have to vet it, and some of the things we have to do is check the endorsements. There's a series of endorsements that the integrator has to put out, so we have to call, email, and check those endorsements. That might take a little time, and get some evaluation scores from some of the manufacturers. So that process could vary depending on the responses we get back from those people. It could be a week to 3 weeks. It just depends on how quick that we're out there trying to get these endorsements and evaluation scores as fast as we can. But it might take a little time, just depending on those individuals we're trying to reach. So the other answer part of your question is, if a company does not meet certification standards, we will tell them in a high level why. I mean, sometimes it's something very obvious and basic, like, hey, your license is expired, or your insurance is out of date, you need to get your insurance policies renewed. We check that stuff. Some of that stuff is very easily fixable. It is the secondary goal of what we've done here is, besides creating a standard and elevating the companies that meet it, is the second part of that is to raise the bar and get those companies that maybe don't meet certification now, is to give them some help to raise their standard. It might be increasing some of their customer service policies, defining their customer service policies. There's third-party
Now, are you providing information to teach them the better way of doing it, or the preferred way, or the HTA way of having, you mentioned customer service policies. Is there some method of communicating to these companies what you're recommending as a best-in-class method?
Yeah, to answer that, there's a lot of questions that we ask about their customer service policies. And we even state at the beginning of this application, don't let this scare you, because there's probably no company on earth that is going to answer a positive answer to all of these. But we will let them know, if the answer is, I don't have this, and I don't have that, and I don't have this, and I don't have that, and it looks like they obviously haven't figured that out, and we're going to get, when we check our endorsements, that's probably going to correlate. I haven't had a bad case like that yet, that the company doesn't have good customer service policies, and sure enough, we go out and get endorsements from clients and tradespeople and find out that their service is slow. Yes, we'll have some specific help we could give, because here's the neat thing. Some of these companies that are applying are under 10 people, and that's fine. They're smaller companies. They might not be big enough to have dedicated service staff. That's okay. There are companies out there even that One Vision and others that they could even use as an outside source to help with customer service. So we could point them in other directions to help them. So it's not like saying, hey, you need to hire more staff. For other things that we could help them out with, let's say they do large projects, but they don't do engineering and design documentation. Well, that's important on the larger projects. Maybe they don't have the staff inside the company to do that. We could point them to a handful of different companies out there throughout the country that do that specific service for integrators. So that's a win for everybody, right? That's helping that integrator do a better job. It's helping that client get a better experience, because when integration companies have design and engineering docs, the end product's better. Quicker install, better service, all of that stuff. So we will help them. We will walk them and give them some suggestions on how they can improve, because we want them to up their game and come back and reapply and make that certification cut.
Now, how have the buying groups, the different organizations such as ProSource, Azione, HTSA, Nationwide, am I forgetting any? There might be another one. How are those groups embracing HTA, or is that part of your outreach strategy to try to get in front of those groups in order to spread the word about what HTA is?
Well, since we launched, the only formal outreach we've done is with the Azione buying group. Richard Gleiks is one of our board of advisor members, and he helped quite a bit with great advice while we were crafting these standards. He's a big believer in this. He gets it right away, what we're doing. And he sent out an email last week, actually, to the Azione members, basically endorsing us, saying this is something I kind of helped with, and by the way, members, this is something you should look into. And so that's the only time we've reached out specifically to a buying group yet, and the response has been very, very positive. So that's great. So I might replicate that in the future. I'm dealing with all those applications right now. We've had 20 applications come in since last Tuesday, which is a lot of work for us, but it's working. The response has been positive, and beyond those 20, I have phone calls even today on some of the members that reached out to us from that email to ask more questions. So some people get it right away. Some people want to know a couple more questions about how does this apply to my business and my market, but it's opening a great dialogue, and the response has been extremely positive.
Are you getting manufacturer support? Any manufacturers maybe that even sit on your board? Are they distributing the message out to their customer base?
Some of them have, yes.
I know that might be a little touchy. That might be a little political. So I don't know if that's something they're going to do.
Well, we haven't formally asked any manufacturer to do that, to, in other words, do marketing on our behalf to their members. We haven't formally asked, but one of the companies have reached out to their rep base and say this is a great tool. The certification is a great tool for the integrators that sell our product to know about. So they're not really advertising for us, but letting the rep team know that the company's definitely behind this. So in that sense, but beyond that, there's no manufacturer support yet. We're not taking sponsorships or anything like that from manufacturers. But manufacturers have been a big help. That when we've reached out to a few of them and asked us in certain markets that, because we're opening up the whole country here, I'll reach out to a manufacturer rep in certain regions of the country where I have applications coming in and asking them, hey, I've got such and such integrator applying, a couple different integrators in this market applying. Are there some great integrators in your market that sell your product that I should be aware of? And oftentimes every time the manufacturer has been saying, yes, you need to talk to this integrator, this integrator, this integrator, and here's why. They do great service, been around for this many years. So the manufacturers have been a big support on identifying companies that just do a great job with their product and know, and the firms that they know make their clients happy. And that's what is a huge help to us. Identify those firms that are making clients happy with the technology, and I'll go out and reach out to those firms personally to invite them to apply.
So is the whole country opened up at this point, or are you staying focused on Southern California? What is the areas of the country that you're taking on first? And is it just the U.S. or is it the U.S. and Canada? What does the landscape look like?
Right now, it's U.S. only, and just because we kind of had to start this from somewhere and get all the little systems all figured out before we complicated it by going international. But we will be going international next year. Sometime in 2018, we'll open up Canada. There's the positive news, and I think something I love, it makes me really feel like we're doing something right here, is I've received several emails from Canada, from one from New Zealand, and several from Australia, and a few from the UK, already saying, hey, when is this going to be here? So the good news is we built the website from the get-go to handle international. All that functionality is not turned on, but we did know from the get-go we would be opening up this international. But for now in the U.S., we've just launched in a focused market, Southern California, but it's opened to the whole country now. So I have applications in, I didn't count the states before I get on the thing today, but there's probably 10 or 11 different states, maybe even more, 12, 13 different states where I have applications coming in. So it's getting a little bit scattered, which makes it a little more challenging for me, but we have applications coming in all over the country.
Over the next 12 months, what are your goals, you and your board, what are your goals in terms of certified companies? What are you hoping to have?
We would love to have at least 350 certified companies, if there's that many out there to certify. Our guesstimate is, and it's kind of hard, this is interesting figures, and talking to a lot of people to try to find out how many companies consider themselves custom integrators. We hear between 10 to 15,000, depending on who you ask. So let's say the people that call themselves residential integrators, 10 to 15,000. Our guesstimate with this creating this standard is that of those, about 10 to 15% of them would make the qualification cut. That's our guess. So that would allow what, depending on how you look at those numbers, anywhere from on the pessimistic side, 1,000 potential members, on the being generous side, up to 2,250 potential people that would qualify. So that's just a guess at this point. We've already had a few companies that applied that didn't make certification. It's doing its job. It's filtering out companies that have some problems, and these companies were well reported on, by the way. So there's a couple things that they have to fix, and then they could reapply. So that's the good news. They're going to up their game and come back and reapply. They're very fixable things with these particular companies. So we'll see. We'll see what we do, but we hope to get 350 by within one calendar year, and then say 2 years out, we would love to have as 750 companies total.
Okay. So if we have any folks out there listening that might be interested, Josh, in either learning more or taking next steps, and if you're speaking directly to them, what's your message?
So I would say go to the website, read it through, look at the advice that we're giving the consumer. I think as you look at the website and see the articles, the advice given, and then play with the budget calculator. There's a budget calculator link right there on the homepage. You could use that to validate your proposals even now. I'm getting very, very positive response about that budget calculator. You could use that as a tool now. And it's educating your clients. It's going to change the conversation from price to, am I qualified to do this? So look at the site, look at the FAQ section. I mean, there's a lot of topics we didn't get to today. It might be, or probably are, answered in there. And apply. And you could do that. There's 2 links at the homepage that say get certified. The direct URL is our website, htacertified.org/apply. Will get you to the application process. And you could start and stop to do it. We try to get those things done within 2 weeks so we could get on the job of endorsing them. But why this is going to make sense for you, if you're a great integrator and you're sick of losing projects to lesser qualified firms that are going to ruin this job, you need this. So, for example, a Michelin star has a great value to a chef. If you're a car manufacturer, having a 5-star safety rating on your vehicle is going to help you sell cars. And it's not me, the dealer, saying my car is 5-star rating. Here's this outside organization that says this car is safe. Here's the Michelin group saying that I'm a 1-star or 2-star or 3-star chef. That has weight. So we are a third-party validation for great companies. And when salesmen make claims about how great they are, clients often discount it. Truthful as it may be, clients often discount when companies brag about themselves. But if a third party says the company is certified, often that carries the weight of fact. That's just reality. Reports show that. Wall Street Journal reports. If you look up reports about these things, consumers want a third-party validation. This is your third-party validation. It should help you close the right projects and raise your reputation in the market, because you have someone else saying, I met this standard, don't listen to me, look at this. I'm qualified to do a project of this caliber. It'll make sense. So I urge you to apply. And if you have any questions, there's a contact form right on the website. Reach out to me with any personal questions you have. I'm more than happy to spend the time to answer any concerns or questions you have.
Awesome. Well, Josh, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for your willingness and patience with us, and your willingness to come back on for 2 weeks in a row, back to back.
Hey, thank you for having me. This is an honor and a privilege to be on your show and to address your audience. And this has been a fun thing, so I'm glad this is a vehicle to get the word out more. So thanks for tuning in, people. I really enjoy it.
And there you have it, folks. That was Josh Christian from the Home Technology Association, an exciting new entry into the custom electronics marketplace. I think the mission of HTA is quite noble. They're trying to help the consumers and the architects and designers really know who to bring into projects. And our industry, I've been around a little bit, 17, 18 years now, and it's my opinion that our industry really needs this. The consumers really need it. And so I hope if you're interested, if you're one of those good firms out there and you want to have that super badge, that HTA badge that differentiates you, I think it's certainly something to take a good look at. So anyway, we're actually going to be back tomorrow at 12:30. I've got another great episode for you. We've had a guest that we've had to bounce a few times. Stay tuned to the Facebook page and other social media platforms. We'll get that exciting guest announced here. Actually, it might already be up on our page. Let me navigate. Yeah, Chris is already there. So Chris Smith from Cloud9 out of New York. Chris is the VP of Business Development, just a rock star industry professional, and I'm excited to have him on the show and talk about all things relating to our industry and kind of how he got here as well. So I will see you tomorrow, and on that note, have an excellent rest of your day, a great weekend, and we will see you very soon. Thanks so much, everyone.